back.
Good. Hello. I say good morning, good afternoon, good whatever, everyone. How are you?
We're together in the afternoon, which is really unusual because it's early afternoon. So we're not sure how to greet you all, but hello.
Yeah, well, whenever, yes. Whatever it is where you are, that's what it is.
Is it morning?
But we do know it's summertime, so at least summertime on this hemisphere.
So happy summer. Pam is glowing because she doesn't have school.
Correct. But it's like the summer's already. I was talking to you before. I was talking to my son, right?
Yes.
About going in to see him, and he's in Brooklyn. Not a big deal. But like the next 3 weekends,
Pam has to return something to him.
He's got something. Well,
she wants to see him.
You know what I have in the trunk of my car? I've got a pot, a beautiful big stock pot, but a nice one. I don't know the brand. I can't tell you right now what it is. But it was mine initially. Okay. And when I moved, Katie took it. Okay. Then Katie moved recently. She doesn't want it anymore. But Daniel's, he likes to cook. But I mean, when he's traveling by train home, he's not going to be carrying this big stock pot. So I've got it in my trunk, and I'm like itching to get rid of it. Anyway. The story of the traveling pot. Yes, the traveling pot. And we mean a pot, an actual pot you cook with, right? Anyway, hopefully everyone is enjoying the beginning of their summer. And we've had some really hot weather here. Hot. Don't exaggerate. It's been warm, but it's been extremely humid. I haven't been around. I don't know. But I do know there was a crazy storm, and we didn't have power for 24 hours. Right. Poor Danielle watching Bear. Oh, she lost it when she was there? The power is out. Oh, the alarm is going off. We can't turn it off. There's no AC. Both her and Bear are like sweating in the middle of the night. Really? She was alone. She didn't want to leave the window, she didn't want to leave the windows open. The door open. Yeah, right. It's like a screen door. Yeah. Poor thing. God bless her. But thank God it came back the next day. Yes. I know. God. That's what I've heard several people say that they were, even here in town, although my lights flickered, but that's it. Right. Emily lost hers for like a minute, but there were some people that were without power, I know. Yeah. You know what it was? It was windy. And the storm came through. It was funny because Emily had been over with the girls, and that was the night I told you Olive was sleeping over. Mm-hmm. So I went with her and the baby to go to the car. And as we're leaving, my daughter looks at her phone and says, it's supposed to rain in 10 minutes. I said, rain? Really? So as we're walking, all of a sudden, when you see like one plop? It was a big drop. And I said, maybe it's starting to rain. And then we get maybe 30 feet further, and it starts thundering and lightning. And I said, well, Emily, since I don't have an umbrella, I said, I'm going to go very quickly. And within 10 minutes, the skies, it was like a monsoon. Wow. The trees were blowing like it was. I was worried we would get water in the basement. But thank goodness there wasn't any. Well, although it was a storm, it was done in 15 minutes. But, of course, if you lose your power, you're without damage. Exactly. Please. You're without power for a while. I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, one of the, what are those things called? Like the things on the power thing. There was a fire. Yes, yeah, that happened behind my house. Correct. The neighbor's unit. I've noticed that we don't have that much lightning and thunder, but the lightning and thunder that we've had, like the 2 or 3 times, it's been so severe. I'm like hunkering down for this week. At the end of the week, we're expecting. We're having another storm? I don't know if it's a storm, but I know there's rain coming. Oh, my goodness. Well, anyway, it's just been humid, although I can't complain because out west, I know they've had like triple digits in the hundreds. I heard record 124. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, listen, you know what? That's dangerous. Yeah. Well, the best thing when it's that hot is just to stay indoors. But then again, they stay hydrated. They say to lessen your usage of, say, the AC and they talk about running water and stuff like that. So if you stay inside, you can sweat a little bit, but that's fine. I'm only teasing. Or walk around naked and close the blinds. Definitely close the blinds. So sun coming through. So what's been doing with you? Back from vacation. Mm-hmm. Had a wonderful time. Good. We were in Croatia. Nice. We were in Greece. Nice. We had lots of celebrations, more than... That's what Audrey went last year. I remembered. That's what Audrey went. Turkey, Croatia, and Greece. Really? She went last summer. Fabulous. She had a great time. It was really nice. She had a great time. Thank you all for barely staying in touch. Oh, listen, that's what happens. You kind of. It was nice. And hopefully, you disconnect.
I tried to. I definitely tried to. A few people reached out, which was fine. Tried to put out some small fires that came across my way. Nothing major, which was nice.
Oh, that's always good.
We did a lot of exploring in Croatia. We were in Dubrovnik.
That's what Audrey was. She was in Dubrovnik.
Did she?
Which is the city with the balloons? There was some city that she went to in Turkey where they go up in hot air. Well, where was it?
We were
Istanbul.
in Croatia. That's Turkey.
That was Turkey. But she was in Croatia.
She was in Croatia.
Went from Turkey to there.
Oh, so we went from Croatia to
Greece.
To Greece, yeah. We did a little island hopping, and it's
nice.
funny. The kids were like, "How was it?" And I know this is going to sound terrible, but when you spend such a short amount of time and you're going from place to place, they start to blend and look the same.
Well,
you're
listen.
getting to the island by boat, and in the island there's like a little port, and
it's like when you're on a cruise and they go into a port. They all look the same.
They start to blend, yeah.
Well, that can happen.
Dubrovnik was completely different. We did the Game of Thrones tour there, which I loved.
Yeah.
We didn't walk the wall, so it was funny. The first night we were there, we were at a restaurant outside this huge compound, and this is before we knew that was the place where they actually filmed the Red Keep, where they filmed in the Game of Thrones. So I asked the waiter, I said, "What is that? What's that, fort over there?" Thinking it was some kind of castle or something. He's like, "It's called the Walls." I'm like, "Well, I could tell it's a wall, because there's these huge walls surrounding the city."
It's funny.
But they're literally called the Walls.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful city. It's it's enclosed, and inside is the Red Keep.
Oh, nice,
I walked. If you're a Game of Thrones person, I walked down like the steps where Cersei had like the shame. You don't watch Game of Thrones.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
So for those of you who watch it, I walked down.
There you go.
It was very crazy. Anyway. Definitely a fan.
Nice.
So that was fun. Yep. And then we ended up in Greece, had a beautiful time. It was so surreal. There were 20 people staying together. So that's the entire family. And we had a meeting spot that the villa, the person that was in charge of the villa, his name was Alexandros. He said, "We're going to meet up at the tree." And he changed the location. And it was so crazy, but one by one, we all arrived around the same time at the tree.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful moment.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
The reunion,
so the first time you saw each other.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was one
Too
car.
bad you didn't have a camera set up. You could have done like a thing.
That would have been an incredible moment to capture on camera.
Exactly, when everybody saw each other when they all arrived. That's
so
nice.
Beautiful.
Good.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Well, at least you have the memory.
Definitely.
Which is nice. No one can take that away.
Yeah, we did like high-low hero. Have you ever done that? We went around the table at the last day of the trip, and everyone shared their high of the trip, their low of the trip, and who their hero was.
Oh, that's nice.
So several times, a few people mentioned that the high was when we all
met at the tree,
reunited at the tree, because
nice.
It was within minutes of each, and we all came from different.
Yeah.
Like Zach and Sophie drove in from Kalamata. They were in Greece a couple of days before.
Yeah.
I flew in, Danielle flew in, we drove in together. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law came in from Israel.
They were separate.
And my father-in-law and Alon were on a different flight. They came, and within minutes, we just...
Oh, that's nice.
It was really beautiful. It was really heartwarming. So
hope you took some nice family pictures.
We just created a Google Drive where everybody is hopefully
putting their pictures in. Now, that'll be nice.
It was really nice.
Then what you should do is you should make one of those, I even did it. I did it through Google.
An album?
Not a big album, but it was like a photo book. I made it for the kids. But it was so easy because you could do it through Google on your phone.
So that's interesting.
Through the Google Drive. So
for my mother-in-law's birthday, and my mother-in-law's birthday was January. She turned 80. My father-in-law is turning 86, July 13th. Sophie created a photo album.
Oh, nice.
One for my mother-in-law.
One for him.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And we celebrated differently, which was very hard because we didn't want to do the same thing.
For both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And I think the way it went, they didn't tell my father-in-law that they were something like we didn't make it that it was a trip about my mother-in-law. We didn't make it a trip about my father-in-law.
Right.
We just went with it.
Celebration.
Right. Anyway, we presented them each their books, and it was just, it's beautiful.
Nice.
So
Oh,
it would
right.
be
So
nice to
Sophie
recap.
was making
Yes,
the books.
collecting the
I remember
photos,
that.
right. So it would be nice to recap, but around the we got so emotional with my mother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness.
Really?
Everyone. And then my father-in-law.
Well,
they're divorced.
But that must have made, not that she likes to see everybody emotional, but it means
It
they have
touched her
good
heart.
memories of her
100%.
and meaningful memories, you
Yeah.
know, so I would think that would be good.
It was very cute. And she, so we were presenting her with this gift.
Yeah, yeah.
And before we even presented her with the gift, she comes in and she gives all the girls in the family a gift.
Oh, that's nice.
She took all of her jewelry one by one and she gave a piece to Danielle. Now, my Danielle is named after her mother. Her Hebrew name is named after her mother. And she was wearing a bracelet. I lost it. As soon as she's like, this belonged to my mother. You're named after my mother.
Oh,
and
so
she
gave her the bracelet.
Yes.
Oh, Danielle must have loved that.
Beautiful. And then she had her jewelry, and she gave Danielle another piece of jewelry. Sophie, Lisa's girls. She gave something to Rocher, which was so
that was
beautiful.
very nice. That's Dana's
Jake,
daughter-in-law.
yes, my
Jake's,
daughter-in-law.
yeah.
And she gave me this beautiful ring.
I was wondering if that's the
Yes,
ring she gave
she
you. I
gave me-
noticed that.
and I love it.
Very pretty.
Now,
what are
I
those
stay
stones?
her hand.
What are that almost
There's-
looks like a mother's ring. Is that what it was for her?
No, this was a ring. So my
What did-
mother-in-law was in the estate jewelry business. She would buy estate
Your
pieces.
mother-in-law.
Yes. And she bought this
Well, that
piece.
looks like an estate
Yes.
piece. It does.
So
It
it's
does.
very pretty. It's got emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. And
The reason
diamonds.
I ask is because I had, which I don't particularly care for anymore, a mother's ring made up.
What's a mother's ring?
It's like years
never
ago
heard of
they
that
would
term.
have, like in other words, it would be a ring, whatever setting you want, and each stone was the birthstone of your child.
Oh.
So like Daniel,
Interesting.
Katie's a sapphire.
When's her birthday?
Katie, September.
Oh, no. So no September.
And Daniel is May. May is an emerald, I believe. I think it's an emerald. Isn't it an emerald? And then Audrey is a December, so that's like a blue turquoise, like a blue topaz, excuse me. And Emily is November, which is a yellow topaz. And I have this ring, and I set
Hence
it.
the mother's ring.
Yes,
I get it now.
and I set it in 18 karat gold, which is that more yellow gold.
Yes.
And I just don't like it. I should give it to your husband to do something.
What are you going to do with it?
I have no idea. I don't have any. I have no ideas. Maybe I should show it to you. Maybe you should tell me. But I never wear it because I don't like it.
Interesting.
You know. And again, a mother's ring too. It's all, you know. Again, and of course, you're wearing the stones of your children. But sometimes they don't go together well. You know,
Right.
if they don't sit together well. But
Right.
you know, you're wearing it. You know what Emily has that I love? She got a necklace, and it's like a gold necklace, and there's a little piece that says Lucy, a little piece that says Olive, a little piece that says Reese. You know,
That's
which
cute.
is nice. That's nice. But I mean, that was in the time. You know, I'm
Right.
going back now.
Right, that's
to
what-
the 90s. I
right.
think when I had it made up. So how
Right.
many years ago? It was a long time ago.
That's an estate piece already.
You're making me feel old now, Dina.
I'm teasing. This was an
But that's
estate
what it
piece.
reminds me of,
Yeah.
because it.
With the different colored
Yes,
stones.
yes. Because you have the sapphire and the emerald
Yeah.
in there.
But these are not
No,
the
but it's
birthstones.
not.
Right.
But that does look like an estate piece, because the old pieces are really
different.
so nice
Yeah.
looking. They're so much
it
more
looks
substantial.
okay in my hand, right?
It looks lovely, and it
Yeah.
fits your finger too. Does
Isn't
it
that
fit?
crazy? Yeah.
Does it fit?
Yeah. I didn't have to do
I
a
was
thing.
going to say, make sure it stays on there.
Yeah.
Good for you. That was very nice that your mother-in-law did
New
that.
acquisition. It's not yarn.
An inheritance, so
yeah.
to speak. You know, I'm
Very
looking
nice.
at us, Dinah.
It's very touching.
I'm wearing green. You're wearing this beautiful, like, golden, like marigold color.
Right.
I'm looking at a mannequin. She's wearing that beautiful
Coral.
coral color. We're so colorful,
It's pretty, actually.
right?
It is.
Anyway,
I like
just
that.
noticed that.
It's very colorful.
But anyway, and that's it. That's all that's going on.
How were your 2 weeks?
They were fine. I mean, we celebrated
You're very
Reese's
busy.
birthday. He turned a year
Happy
old.
1-year-old.
I know.
Can't believe he's a year already.
I know. And now he's starting to do things, like he's starting to say, like he claps his hands and he goes, he says clap, clap, but he's not saying as clearly as I'm saying it, of course. And just doing things, like mimicking things, because he can, he realizes he can do things. Very cute. Anyway, and that's it.
Has he said anything? Like, does he have any
He says Dada, he says Mama.
Which did he say first?
Oh, of course they would say Dada first. It's just easier to say. And
you
then
go through all that labor and carrying them, and they always say Dada first.
And he wants to do like a bye-bye kind of thing. And like I say, clap, clap. It didn't exactly sound like clap, clap, but that's what he was saying, as best he can. But it was fun.
Nice.
It's a great age because it's almost like every day they do something different.
It's exciting times.
They do something different. So, now he's walking and, it's funny. He'll drop something. He bends down, gets down. I said, it must be nice to have young knees. They bend down, they're up. He's got something in his hand. He's up. I said...
Please, we were
brand
doing
new knees,
yoga.
right?
Alun's girlfriend is a yoga instructor. I am so out of shape.
Oh, well, forget it. Let's not go there. That's the other thing I've wanted to do and I haven't had time to do is do more exercises. Speaking
of, like, bending down, like, doing these, like, poses, my knees were, like...
They start to hurt you.
Crotchety, like they're irritated.
I know. And, if you fall on your knee, like when I was at school last year, I tripped over. I was carrying a kid's backpack, and he had those straps that were hanging, and it got stuck on my foot, and I went right down on my knee, and I was fine. I bruised my knee, but I find that when that happens, it's like you recover, but it's
painful.
They still hurt you, you know?
It's painful.
I was saying, I have to tell this funny story. I was at school last year. People will appreciate this.
Where's my phone?
And the teacher was doing something in the classroom with like 3 or 4 kids, and you had to go... Depending what she was asking, I forget what it was, and you had to go down, you had to go up, you had to go... And so she needed an extra person. So she said to me, why don't you go up there and do that? And I'm like, oh, I had to go down on my knees and stay there and get up. I said, oh, I'd be darned if I'll let anyone see that. It's uncomfortable.
It's crazy.
Or that I can't get back up, but then you pay the price for it later on, right?
So speaking of paying the price, my back started to go out. I was... from the yoga poses, because when you haven't done it in a while, if you have like lower back pain,
and also depends the level at which they're doing, if it's something you're not used to,
going from downward dog to upward dog all of that was weighing on my back. So then my niece, when she suffers from
scoliosis,
fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
So she's healed, like she's much better now, but one of the recommendations that when she was actually suffering, a doctor said that she should go do something called Qigong. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of, no.
It's just like, you're swishing around and you do these so we were doing yoga, Qigong, you were swimming in the pool.
Swimming is a great exercise.
Swimming was good because it wasn't hard on
it doesn't strain your body parts.
But anyway, it was a great time.
I'm glad you had a great time.
And now we're back.
And we've talked about everything but knitting for like how long? But that's okay.
That's okay.
That's what it's about. Right?
We're sitting with friends. Exactly.
Yes.
It's a little bit of everything. But where are you? What are you wearing?
I am wearing the, don't tell me, Chevron vest. I know it's by Beth MacDonaldstone.
Yes.
I know it was knit with Tick Lina, which is the chunky version of the Lina series from Sanis Garn, which is linen and viscose. Right?
And cotton.
Cotton. That's right. Thank you. And it's just what it looks like. It's lower in the back, and it's got a higher neck, and it's got a ribbing. Let me stand up. It's got a ribbing down at the bottom. It's got a ribbing on the side, and it's got this on the bottom. It's a little longer in the back, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It might find.
Oh, maybe you do have
like
it on.
Ovals. No,
I think the openness is in the front.
No, you could have done it either way, but I think we didn't because it was too
low,
and because this dips lower in the back.
I don't remember now.
So that's why. Anyway, so that's what I am wearing. It's a great. Except I know that it should be okay that your bra straps stick out.
They're not sticking out
in today's day and age, but I'm the older generation that you don't.
Do you sparkle in your hair like fairy dust?
No, that's gray.
Where?
That's gray.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I might from the kids. Who knows? The kids have Do I?
Something sparkly on the
The
side.
kids went. It was so interesting yesterday. Emily took them to get their hair cut, and there's a place here in town that's called Sit Still. It's very cute for kids. Each chair is like, it's elevated like a chair would be, but it's a car.
Oh, fun.
And they have an iPad.
Okay.
So they can be watching a movie or a cartoon.
So they're not moving.
While they're getting their hair cut. How ingenious is that?
They're in a trance, thanks to the iPad.
And so, but the reason I mentioned that, you said glitter. Emily got them. They had this stuff that they could put on them. It's like a little glitter.
Okay.
Like you put it on your face. I said, maybe some got on me.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Very
so
cute.
That's what I am wearing. What about you, Dinah? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing Joni. It's
I love
designed,
the Joni.
I love it. It's designed by Natasja Hornby. It was knit in Linio, which was a yarn by Chappelle, I think.
Yes, I think you're right.
I don't have any more of it. We had put some kits together using...
Is it 100% linen?
It's 100% linen. I don't recall what... We may have kits. We may not have any more kits on the website. If you're interested, you can look on Ravelry, look up yarn ideas.
Yeah, go to Joni and see what they used. Yeah,
it's designed by Natasja Hornby.
Was it a fingering weight yarn or I think it was sport weight?
I think it was sport weight.
Right. You know what you could use? You could use pebble.
Pebble would be nice.
Pebble would be lovely.
That's a possibility.
Or you could use a merino linen.
The new Marilyn from ICA you could use as well. That would be perfect for it, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
So they're options, and yeah, I love it. This time of year, it's a great color.
Yep.
It's a great top. I like the lace panel in the front.
And I like the
There
bottom.
is no
it
lace
scoops,
in the back.
doesn't it?
Yes,
Scoop
let me
in
see
the
if I can
front.
stand up.
It's got like a little
I don't know
scoop, like that.
You'll be able to see it, but it ends here.
And the back is just that.
Yep.
It's very nice, and I like the drop over the
Can
shoulder.
you see the scoop? Not really.
No, believe me,
I'd have to
there's a
stand. There's a little dip.
There's a little dip there.
There is. And that's what I'm wearing.
There you go.
I just realized we didn't introduce ourselves, and I don't
ahead.
think we've done that the last few times.
Go ahead, you go first.
So for those of you who are new to our station, my name is Dina. You can find me at The Knitting Place on Instagram, Ravelry, and Facebook.
I am Pam Sapp on Instagram and Ravelry, and Pam Sapienza on Facebook.
We love to share what we are knitting, what we're wearing. We talk about our experiences through knitting and crocheting.
Exactly.
We like to put show notes down below. You'll find links to the patterns that will take you directly to Ravelry.
Or the kits, if there are kits for the particular project.
Exactly. And if there are no kits, we might share what we used, and we try to provide any information that you might be looking for in that section.
Absolutely.
Please give us a follow. If you enjoy the podcast, give us a thumbs up.
There you go.
And if you'd like notifications when we drop a new podcast, turn on notifications.
There you go.
And that's it. I'm far away.
Bring yourself in again.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
What else do we have, Dana?
whips.
Whips. Okay.
What have you been whipping?
I'll show you one. The most newest one, actually, is the Luminos, right?
Yes.
Luminos on Ravelry. This is the first half of one. It's a different construction. It's bottom. I have a picture of it. There's a picture here I thought I saw. Maybe not. Maybe it was the Jethro and like that. I thought I saw it. Huh. Nope.
It's designed by Bernice Lynn
Yamagara.
Yamagara.
I don't have my other color with me. Well, it's two colors. This is my first color, which is a Ruby and Roses. I think it's called Gallant. And this is going to be my side seam. And this is the bottom. You make two of these. So there'll be one coming from this side. And then there's, and then there's that side. And then they come together with the third color, which is a hand-dyed color. And so, like what I was saying to Dinah, my side seam is already 10 inches long.
Wow. Are you going to add length?
Well, since I'm doing the fourth size, I don't think I need to. And I look at the length, finished length on the fourth size.
Okay.
I forget what it is now. I say 21, something like that, 22. So I don't have the other color with me, but this is my second half, which I did start, but I have only done this much on it. So it's going to be like here. So this should be half of my width. And again, that's going up the side. It hasn't been blocked or steamed or anything like that. But it's
so the width, technically, if you were to open this up, you want to take the other side?
Yep.
That is the width, front and back. However, because of the way it's constructed, it's not. This is not your front. It's half a front and half a back.
Half a back.
Yeah,
right.
It's really fun.
And then the second color will do a connection. So it's kind of worked almost like the V-back tee that you have. That it's like she calls it a what shawl, like a shawl knitting, because it is knit. If you look at it like a shawl, it's got a center stitch, and you've got your left and right edge where you do increases, right? So it does look like that, but it's interesting how she adapted that to a sweater design, which is very interesting.
Really fun.
I was wondering if I had a picture of it, but whatever. It would be with my.
Do you want me to try to find it?
Do you think we have it? I could find it here on my phone. I don't know if that's not good. But I just wanted to.
There it is.
Yep, I wanted to show them the second picture. This one here. Like, here's the side. You see what I'm talking about? Look at the side. That blue is that whole side of my first color. So you see there's not much more else before you split for the front and back.
Well, no, you do have the stripe section.
Yeah, but it's not that much.
No.
It's not that much. And here's the other one.
Super fun. I'm excited for you.
So this is it if you were doing it with two colors.
Two solid colors.
Solid colors, excuse me. And this is it with a solid and a hand-dyed.
Kind of blends more.
Yeah, especially
very
the
pretty.
colors she picked. But anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to show you that for the construction, and that's where I am on that. What about you, Dina?
I have my Nila, which I'm moving right along, and I'm sighing because I was telling Pam while I was away I needed to join my second skein, and I did not take into consideration that I would need to hand wind the skein, but I did it. I think I put a post with Ella's holding the yarn.
You can't see that, Dina. You can't see that.
And I joined my yarn. Now this is called Merino linen, and it's the Knitting Place yarn. So it's a shop yarn, custom made for me. I joined in my second skein, and I actually had ball banding. I always recommend alternating skeins when you're knitting.
How far past are you where you were when you saw the banding?
So, what do you mean how far past?
What point of the sweater were you up to when you noticed that you needed to change
about
it?
Here.
About there.
Yeah, and it was like this much of the ball band. And it was significantly darker, despite the fact that the skeins came in the same lot.
They did, huh?
10 skeins come in a bag, and that's one lot. Now, when we say one lot, we always mention how sometimes a dye pan might have 2 skeins, sometimes a dye pan might have 3, but it's a bag of 10, and I assumed that it was dyed all in the same.
Well, it still doesn't make a difference.
Exactly. So it just goes to show you.
If you got a bag of 10, it doesn't mean they were in the same pan.
Correct. And I had this horrible line, and I tried it on.
And it was falling right by your bust, too.
I sent a picture. I had my husband take a picture, and it was just here.
Well, you know, it almost looks like a shadow in the picture because your bust is there.
But the bottom is like just significantly darker.
Right.
So I ripped it out, and not only did I have to rip out all that I knit, I had to rip beyond it because I had to merge it. And so...
And it's not a... Listen, it's a nice pattern, but she's got the...
It's not easy.
She's got the lace knitting.
Yeah, it's not easy. So
that's
here
the back.
It is.
The back's
this is
not
the back.
bad.
Yeah.
But she's got the twist stitches in the back, the sides, and the front. She's got the lace.
And then every row of lace, is different.
Right.
I now have the pattern memorized.
See, I don't have the lace, but I haven't...
I've done more knitting than I needed to do, considering my ripping. But I guess that's the good news, right?
There you go.
And I'm loving it otherwise. It's a beautiful top. I'm looking forward to...
You're almost done.
No, not really.
Well,
I'm just, 2 inches past the
armhole? Well, the point is, after your body is done...
4 inches past the armhole.
After the body is done, you don't need to... The thing the reason why I find that slower going is because, for me personally, I need to be sitting and have my iPad out, so I'm checking. I don't have the lace committed yet to memory, but then again, I've just joined it in the round, so maybe I will.
I think you will.
After I do a few repeats.
I mean, don't forget.
I have the rest of it, but...
For me, I've knit this much because I had to rip back.
Right, and I'm just establishing the side.
Yes, but I think you will.
If
you do it enough. And on my way home on the plane, it's funny because in this angle, it looks like there's...
banding.
The banding, but it really isn't. It's just the way it is.
Well, I think that once it's done and you block it out, it won't be bad.
Of course, my husband thought I was crazy.
Oh, you can't. You had to rip it.
And it's funny, he didn't see it. I said, take a picture, I'll show you. And in the picture, I think it's rather evident. But he said, I don't see it.
In the picture, it's deceiving because it's falling right under your bust. And
where
your bust
there's
could
a
be
shadow. Right.
Maybe he was
looking
But it was
a ball band.
Yeah, it was a ball band. Yeah, I saw that as well. This is my Nila. Again, not as far as Dina's, as you can see, because look, there's what I joined.
Yes, but it looks great. Doesn't it feel good to be joined in the round?
Oh, that was my goal. That was one of the things that I did accomplish in the 2 weeks. Because what I was up to, I had just done... I hadn't even finished totally one side. I did that. I did this side. But then I still had all of this to knit.
Right.
Down to here. And then I got... But then I said, you know what? Again, it's the kind of knitting...
Looks so beautiful.
Need to be by something.
Now your stitch definition, and mine looks so much looser than yours now.
Does
I think, mine looks much bigger. Look at that. It's tremendous.
Well, I can't even hold mine up because there's nothing to see yet, just this.
See how much tighter yours is?
What size needle are you on? 32?
32.
I'm on a 24.
Maybe that's
Mine's jammed up on a 24. I'm debating if I should change it.
No.
I'm thinking I should keep it tight.
Definitely 24.
Yeah, right. So there you go. So that's...
I have more pushing to do.
Yeah.
I went on a wood needle, so being that I was traveling to Europe, I remember one trip, going out wouldn't be a problem because in New York, they don't stop me.
It's coming back in.
It's coming back, but they didn't bother me, thank goodness.
Oh, that's curious.
I have a little hack now with my needles. Do you know what I did?
What did you do?
I took... my knitting needles and I clumped them all together so that you couldn't see 1 or 2 points, and I rubber banded them.
Your circulars?
Yeah,
you put them in so they couldn't see the points.
Exactly.
Oh, good.
Or if I had...
How many did you have?
Well, I took a few projects on, you know me.
Yeah, but what if they took your needles from you?
I would have been destroyed.
Oh my God, that's such a risk.
Destroyed when I show you the project.
They took your needles from you. Oh God.
Sylph. Amazing.
You didn't take Sylph with you, did you?
No.
I was going to say.
I took nothing wintry. So it's funny because the amount of knitting that I brought,
Did you really? How many?
Ridiculous.
Well, I see you have these 3 things. Did you take these 3?
Yeah, I took Luminous with me.
Oh, jeez.
I brought the Scylla Sun, which I started. I didn't bring it though.
Okay.
What else did I bring?
That's enough. That's 5 projects.
It's ridiculous. It's like my security blanket.
Well, that's the whole thing. You stop and think, if we took 1 or 2, maybe we'd get something done.
Probably.
But anyway, what are you going to do? We're knitters. Well, what is that thing that you see on Instagram now? We're knitters. So, of course... we have
more than one project.
Of course we do, whatever. Of course we
start
take
something
a suitcase
new,
of projects with us when we go on vacation. Yeah, so my yarn I didn't mention was Sunday from Sammensat.
Yes.
Which is 100% wool.
Right.
Non-superwash. And go ahead.
Merino linen, 90% wool, 10% linen.
And there you go. And the only other thing that I was going to mention, if I can find it, was my Jethro. So I've been doing squares on my Jethro, and that's the other thing. I even said in the comments to someone, I said I should really just have a marathon day and just do all. I could finish them in a day if I would just dedicate my time to doing that, and it would be done, But
one day to do all your squares?
Right.
No way.
No, well, Dina, I've got 24 done. I only have 12 to do. I could do 12.
Would you like a mint?
Yeah, I would like that. I thought you were taking medicine at first.
No.
Anyway, so Dina shared the last time that we were talking about the Jethro, which is a crocheted cardigan from
Tanis Fiber Arts.
Thank you.
It's amazing I remember anything after
being away, right?
Being away, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
I still
of course,
have
I hate
foggy
when that
brain.
happens. What did I just do? I hate when they get like that.
One of our customers, Missy, so shout out to you.
Oh, was it Missy?
It was Missy. She sent me a text that, I think it's an app. Was it an app?
No, I don't think it's an app.
A link?
It wasn't an app. I don't remember now.
Maybe it's a link. I don't recall. But it's this calculator, and what it does is so with Jethro, you are working a number of squares, and you need to...
So that's what it does.
Allocate where each square will go and kind of get an idea of the colors or the shading.
It's a granny square color pattern generator.
Thank you. That's the official name.
So those are my colors, but there was something. Why did I do it twice? I think I might have changed it. I don't remember. Anyway, but so the things I've circled are the ones I've done. So that's why I brought these, because these were the ones that I've done. Not that it means anything. I can't show it to you as a whole.
You haven't started sewing any of them?
Only the ones we did for the class. I can't, because what if I decide I want to move one?
Oh, well, are you going to follow this layout?
No.
Oh,
no.
Interesting.
No, I'm not following the layout. No, I'm not that, I mean, not that I'm not dedicated to it, but the problem is I've probably done half of my squares almost without it.
But you can kind of figure out if some are similar.
I might follow my fronts and make all my fronts squares from that thing, but not in that order. No.
Okay.
Because, there is the slight difference in color. And don't forget, I also added a few things in.
You added more colors.
Right. So I did add some of them in, but in any event.
Sorry,
so, I mean, it's... There you go. So these are my colors. You can hold one up, Dina.
It's got a beautiful beachy, I don't know. I love this palette. Whoops.
Yeah. And that one. I've got to do... See, I want to do more of these in your other hand.
This one?
Like that.
That's very pretty. It's kind of like shaded.
Yeah, I've got to do more like that, I think.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Anyway, so so I've been working on that, and I think I have... Each panel in the front has 8 and 8, and I think I have to do an 8 and a 4. Maybe 12. I make them 12. But, then I have to lay them out and start sewing them together, and it depends where they fall, I can't sew them together now. Because with my luck, I'd start sewing them together, and then I'd say, no, I have to take it apart now and do whatever. But anyway.
I don't think I would take it apart.
So that's the Jethro.
Beautiful.
You said it was from Tanis, right?
Tanis Fiber Arts.
Right.
Pattern is available on Ravelry, but under crochet designs.
Oh, it is
it's
under
not
crochet.
Under knit. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's got knit sleeves and a knit ribbing and neckband.
Yeah. And there are quite a few projects on there.
It's over 350.
Have a look. I mean, it's
some are absolutely gorgeous. Yep.
I was hoping to have this one done. It's my Sammensat. This poor thing. This is terrible. I shouldn't even show it to you.
Oh, hold it up. It's pretty.
If I can.
I think it's pretty, but
I have too many ends hanging out from all over. This is disgusting.
How come you have so many ends?
Because when I was away, I only took one skein with me, and I wanted to do the sleeve. So
it's so pretty. It's that's going to be such a great wear. Let me see this sleeve you finished.
Here's one sleeve done.
Oh, nice. I like the ribbing. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, nice.
And I have my second one on the needle.
Okay, good.
And what I determined is I thought I was going to be...
Did you do the ribbing?
Doing the ribbing, and when I got home, I laid it... Now, we always talk about measure it or hold it up against a garment that you might have at home.
Yeah.
I took my river top, which is knit in Lena by Santa's Garn, and I laid this on top of it, and I realized that I actually needed to do a whole additional section.
Right. So when you do a section,
that's how short it was.
Where does the ribbing doesn't start right after this, does it?
No. So I'm doing this. I need to do 20 rounds still, and then still do
some more. So you ribbing.
I have to see.
Oh, does it? So the ribbing comes right after that.
It would come after that.
I gotcha.
I wouldn't do it attached to this.
No, you can't.
Right, but hopefully. Right. I'll be at a point where I might just elongate the ribbing or elongate the bottom.
That's the best thing to do is just to measure it up against something.
Yeah. I think after my next repeat, I'll put it on a barber cord and try it on.
Yeah, that's the thing to do.
So it's starting to almost be a T-shirt.
There you go. That's what I did with my Stella that time.
See, it's big enough.
It is big enough. See, Because you were shoved on a tiny needle.
16 inch.
That's like me holding my Nila on a 24 and saying it's not wide enough, right?
Exactly.
But the thing with the Nila was, for Dina and I, is that it went from a size 40, which is what our bust is, to a 45. So we really didn't have much of a choice. We had to do the 45.
Right.
And I should say on the Nila, not the Nila, the Luminous, excuse me, it was a similar thing.
With the sizing.
It went 42 to 46. And, because it's knit differently, it's not just a regular bottom-up sweater. It's that shawl design. It's hard to measure your gauge. I mean, you could always measure your gauge and start knitting a sweater and then check your gauge and make sure that the width is what it should be. But because of the way it's knit, it's not quite as easy as doing it that way on this. So that's why I kind of slowed down and I put it aside and I checked. I mean, I can't tell you the time I spent. Measured my gauge, measured the height, measured the width, and I have to go with the larger one. I just have to.
If I'm not mistaken, I had been in touch with Bernice. I let her know that we were going to be conducting a class. Right. And some of the questions that came up were if I want to make it longer, if I want a deeper armhole. And if I'm not mistaken, she mentioned that she was going to send in the modifications.
She did. I just downloaded them on my Ravelry page yesterday. Yep, she did.
So that's another...
But that's if I want to make it longer.
Right, or a deeper armhole. But...
I was concerned about width.
Then it's different.
Because she says, I believe it's 6 stitches to the inch, but clearly when you're measuring it along here, it's not going that way.
It's different. It's on a diagonal. It's on a 45-degree angle.
Correct. Right. So I took her stitches.
It's really row gauge.
And I figured out, right.
It's row gauge.
And I figured out the gauge the gauge that she got. And it looked like it should have been, my determination was that edge along the bottom was 4 stitches.
4 rows?
Well, in that, yes, not 4, it was rows, but 4 of them, which seemed to be what I was getting.
Garter stitches?
No, I was looking at above the garter stitch. And is that right? I don't know. So that would mean, well, then I would be getting 42. But to me, it's just too close. If I do the 42, it's not going to fit.
Yeah,
it's not going to fit.
I don't want a piece that's going to be too tight.
I'd rather have it fit a little looser. Because how many times, I don't know about you guys, but I always find myself, it's long enough. And then you finish it and you could have gone longer. Or, it's wide enough, or you should have done something else. You know what? I can always gain a couple of pounds.
You don't want to be nervous either way.
Right. And if my gauge is remember you told me at the beginning you thought my gauge looked tighter?
Yes.
So I said if my gauge is tighter, then maybe it'll be like 44.
It'll offset it.
Right.
It'll offset so if you're a little bit in between, it's not a big deal.
Whatever. So now I should have said that. Okay, Dina's showing you her.
This is my test knit. This is super fun.
You've made great progress on
Morning Fog. I had done a video while I was away on how to...
Is the pattern out yet?
No, it's in test knit. This is designed by Popevergara. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's knit in merino linen with mohair, and there are beads in here. And I'm not sure if you could see it, but this is my first bead knitting. And here I was Here I was instructed to put 1 bead on a stitch. However, here it was get 3 stitches in 1 bead. Now the bead here is a different shape than this one. It's got a narrower circumference, like the hole. This is more of a barrel bead, I guess. Barrel, and this is like wider.
Is that what she directed you to do, or just she did?
She did.
It was good that she was that specific.
She was very specific with the bead size.
I see the difference. The ones look rounder on top, and those are
more bulbous, and this is more of
like the kid beads.
So fun.
Like the kid ones that more of a blunt. They have a blunt cut to them.
So super fun. It needs to be blocked clearly. This is the lace panel.
Very nice.
Very pleased with my color selection. I'm in the body now. This pattern is due to be released July 18th, so I really have to get
knitting. And it's a short sleeve.
Short sleeve.
So you get a lot done.
Yes.
A lot done.
I'm hoping to knit
5 inches there, probably.
an inch a day, and then an inch on each sleeve.
You can do
so
it.
I'm like cutting it close.
It's only is it the 8th?
Yeah, I have 8 days.
Yeah.
And I need to take pictures.
It's the 8th. It was my niece's birthday yesterday. I have to mention happy birthday.
There you go.
Francesca? No, Nicole.
Oh, happy birthday, Nicole.
There you go.
So anyway, fun. I'm using, again, the Knitting Place yarn. It's merino linen. I think this colorway is called Toffee Rose.
Pretty.
I'm using Viola, which is like a deep navy. And this is a colorway in Sanduscore, and I don't know.
It's like a clay.
Yeah, I don't know the color. If you recall, I changed the color.
Yeah, I do.
I had started with a lighter color.
It plays nicely with the Toffee Rose,
better.
I think. Yeah, I like it a lot.
So that's it.
There you go. Stay tuned. You'll see the finished product soon.
Exactly.
Sooner than later.
I won't be able to show
for sure, right?
If I finish it by Monday, I won't be able to show it until
that's okay.
The following
So in 2 weeks, maybe.
Right.
And if you don't finish by Monday, you still have until the following week. So less pressure on yourself.
Right.
You know. And that's really it. I've been knitting here and there on my Stella Alpina, which is that white cotton piece that I have, maybe 5 inches down. No, I don't even know. Don't even listen to me. I'm not going to tell you. I don't even know. But I was telling Dina, it's been very busy. I've been helping my daughter with the kids because the kids aren't in camp yet.
Oh, and did you tell them about your daughter?
No. The kids are going to camp and they're not there yet. So, school ends. And what do you do with the kids? It's funny. I was talking to the customer with the Kimberly. Well, I called her the other day about her order, and she was saying she was in a similar thing because I was leaving here and I was taking the kids to the park.
Okay.
I was picking them up and taking them to the park, and she's like, she said, it's like she's got the same thing because she has an 8-year-old son. And it's like, you got to keep them occupied.
Busy.
She said, when I was a kid, she told me my mother used to take me to work with her, and she would just, hang with her mother. It wasn't like she had to be entertained every second.
Nowadays, entertainment.
You need to entertain them every second. So we were commiserating, And she said, "Oh, you're a good grandmother." I said, "Listen, we just went to the park. It wasn't a big deal." But anyway, what was my point? So I didn't get a lot of knitting time. So on 4th of July, a friend invited us over for a barbecue, and I brought my Stella Alpina, which is just knitting around. Big deal, right? And
perfect for that kind of outing.
I don't think she'd ever see this podcast, so I don't have to worry about it. Oh, I wouldn't say who, but her husband was like, because she knits for church, she does some charity knitting. Another friend was there who also knits, and he said, "No knitting today. You guys are not allowed to knit." I was so insulted.
Aghast.
How could they say that? But, that's the whole thing. People don't realize that you can knit and have conversation. Like, who said to me about reading a book? Who said to me? What did you say? What did you say about a book?
I was,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Being on vacation, I try to read a book. And clearly, I'm not giving up knitting to read. So I've started listening to books. And what I was doing is, I'm knitting on Nila, and I've realized that now I didn't pick out a book until I saw the kids. I don't know if any of you know the book Tomorrow. Have you heard of it?
No.
Lovely. Anyway, I'm trying to get into this book. I realize that I make this tremendous mistake. Not that it's a mistake, but I have the ball banding. I need to rip out the knitting, and I'm trying to establish the pattern, work in lace. It's SSK and yarn over, knit two together. And I'm like saying the pattern in my head while I'm trying to listen to this book. I realize that you cannot listen to an ebook, an audible book with
a complicated knitting.
No, you need Stella Alpina.
You'll need Stella Alpina, right. Yeah, like I wouldn't take my iPad out and start following a chart. But to sit there and just knit and have conversation, And it's not like anybody else. It wasn't like I spoke to anybody and said, "Oh, bring your knitting. We can sit and knit." I would never do that, And usually, 9 times out of 10, if I go somewhere, I don't know about you guys, but I always bring my knitting. It's like a security blanket.
Totally.
And 9 times out of 10, I never touch it. But the fact that I was told that I couldn't do it, just, I said, "You got to be kidding me. Why not? Why couldn't I do it? I probably wouldn't have."
Did you question?
No, I wouldn't do that. I
wonder, what the beef was.
Well, I think they feel like you're not, it's not your full attention. They don't understand that, And for me, what bothered me is I'd had no knitting time. So I said, "Oh, I'll be sitting around talking. I can I can at least knit.
Get a few rounds in.
And I think that's what bothered me more than anything else, you know.
You're trying to make the most of your time.
I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that it's, I mean, listen, do you feel like it's rude to do that? I feel like I can listen better when I'm knitting. I don't know if that makes any sense. Sometimes we'll have conference days at school, and there's a conference about whatever.
Are you allowed to bring knitting there?
But there are hundreds of people in an auditorium. I'll pull out my knitting.
Of course.
Like on a Stella Alpina. I mean, I wouldn't, if I see the superintendent, like, looking at me, I would put it away. But there's so many people there. There are so many people
I'm sure they wouldn't mind. So on that note, I'm away with my family, and I'm asking my husband, I'm like, Az, do you think people are going to mind? I feel self-conscious when I'm knitting with your family.
Yeah.
And he's like, rolled his eyes like I'm crazy. And I don't want to say I did a test or, I took out my knitting. Mind you, people are reading their books. They have their Kindle. I don't know if anyone was actually wearing, AirPod, like, not AirPods.
The
AirPods?
Yeah,
AirPods.
Yeah.
Like if they were listening to,
a podcast or a book, whatever they're listening to.
I have my knitting out. Now, mind you, I'm the only, well, actually, if you're reading and you don't have any AirPods, then you could totally engage in a conversation.
If you're reading?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you'd have to stop your book.
You'd have to stop reading. You can't read. You can knit and talk. You can't read and talk.
I'm like the only one that you can literally do what I'm doing and still have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yet I subconsciously always felt like no one talked to me while I was knitting.
You was knitting, like you couldn't do both.
So the last couple of days, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to, like, it's like a battle. Mm-hmm, it's like this, should I knit? Shouldn't I knit? If I knit, I feel like I'm being unsocial. Right. So I put my knitting away on the last day, and I was definitely engaged more. I don't know if it was me putting myself into
the
conversations more, and I was like less distracted, and then I started feeling guilty, like, was it important to knit? But you can't always be on, like it's so hard.
But there are many things you can knit that you can, I don't know about you, but I can have conversation when I'm knitting.
Of course I can. I was talking, I mean, whoever talked to me, I was able to talk to.
As I said, I listen better when I'm knitting because I find myself fidgety when I'm just sitting there and I have to listen.
What was I knitting on? I was knitting on my Morning Fog, which is all knit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was getting like,
it's not like we're
my
taking
5
an
rounds
iPad
a day.
Out or
Exactly.
I was highly insulted, but.
So do you think it's okay to knit in company? That's really a good question.
I'm trying to think where else. I used to joke. I was at church. I was at one point ran the council, the board meeting. I was like the president, and I would find it. I'd sit there and I was like, I wish I could be knitting because I'm so fidgety. And people don't realize I could run a very good board meeting with my knitting in my hand.
Right.
I mean, I would stop knitting easily. But of course people would never, ever understand that one. So I wouldn't even try.
Right. It's frustrating.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's just an interesting, Dana and I were talking about this yesterday. We were just saying.
It's funny because now that I'm into the book and I'm like very well aware of the characters and, all of, I'm well into it. I feel like I could knit a more challenging pattern.
Right.
Because I'm already vested in the book. But when you're just starting to get the characters and figure
that's
out
what
how
happened
the
to me, where
plot's
you're
building.
listening to something and you're maybe doing something like knitting in that regard, and you realize you're concentrating on this, and I missed the last 2 minutes of what they were saying, so you have to go back. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I need another recommendation. I'm getting into listening to books on tape. I know I said that.
Ask them for recommendations.
Yeah, please give me a recommendation if you have a favorite book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm probably about halfway through the listen on this one, but it's a wonderful story about friendship.
Oh, nice.
And I'm sure it's going to get better.
For tomorrow book.
Yes.
It's interesting. Who we should ask is Audrey. She's been doing reading.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love to get into like a book club.
I don't know. I don't know if a book club is for me because, I want to read a book I want to read. If they suggest a book and I don't want to read that book,
right?
And then you get time constraints.
Right.
I don't know. I just think that sometimes it can be a little dicey in those book clubs.
Does listening to a book still count?
Oh, I think so. Why not? Why would you? You don't even have to tell them you listen to it. You could just say,
I guess it doesn't matter.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do like a physical book in my hand. I do. There's nothing like a book.
Nothing like a book.
Nothing like having a book in your hand.
So speaking of a book in your hand,
yeah,
there was a storm that passed through while we were in Greece. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. All the books
got wet
in the water.
Did your book get wet?
No, I didn't have a book. I'm listening.
Oh.
My mother-in-law's iPad. No, it's crazy. Everyone, like 4 or 5 books were in the bottom of the pool.
Oh, really?
Umbrellas blown over. And
my
they're
goodness.
not used to getting
those kinds of storms.
That kind of rain.
Yeah.
My father-in-law was in the house alone. We had all gone to Spetses, another island, beautiful island, and we knew that we heard a storm was coming. And then as we started watching the weather report, we're like, we better get back to the mainland.
Yeah.
Well, we were in Portocelli, which is a part of Athens.
Were you driving the boat?
No. It was a water taxi.
Oh, okay. Good.
And we're like, look, are you still going to ride, will you still water taxi? And they're like, don't worry. Of course, we're going back and forth. And now they don't know how rough the waters are going to be. But we got back in time. It didn't rain. God. We got into the car. Now, not all of us came.
Yeah.
Jake, Roche.
They didn't go.
Alun, his girlfriend, my niece, her boyfriend were still on the island.
Oh.
They got
you
caught
mean came. Oh, they stayed?
Well, they were on a moped.
So what happened?
Going around the island. Halfway around the island, the storm started.
So what did they do?
They're trying to hunker under a tree, which is the worst location.
Yeah, during a storm, the tree falls down. Yeah.
My sister-in-law, who was so anxious, is like, you cannot stand under a tree, but you're surrounded by water.
It's all trees.
It's a body.
Yeah. It's an island.
They couldn't ride because...
What did they do?
They stood under the tree.
And were they able to get back?
The storm passed and they came back. Okay. They were shivering,
soaking wet. They must have been soaking wet.
Oh, my God.
Did the sun come back out after the storm, or was it...
It didn't quite come out like...
Yeah,
I expected
if it was
a rainbow.
Nice and sunny, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I really wanted to see a rainbow, but there was no rainbow.
That's so funny.
But definitely unusual. So we were driving back home. Mm-hmm. The roads were flooded.
Yeah.
I was asking them, how high does the water need to be? Yeah. I think it was a foot. It might have been 3/4 of a foot.
Oh, really? Wow.
In rain.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, see, that's
crazy.
That's what I said, when you're in an unfamiliar terrain, you don't know how that terrain reacts with floods from rain and stuff like that. Here you're a little more used to what to do. The hutch always floods out, so you stay with the hutch, right?
Exactly.
So funny.
Roads to avoid. But let me tell you, we came back to the house and it was a disaster. 2 umbrellas flipped into the pool.
Oh my God.
Torn. The yoga mats.
Everything was all over.
No one expected it. My mother-in-law had her iPad and they had this overhang in the house and it's covered, you get shade. But what it really is just like straw.
Yeah.
Straw going this way and straw going that way. Right. So the rain just poured through.
Poured through it, of course. Yeah.
Her iPad.
Oh, my God.
It's just crazy. Jeez. Anyway.
You never know.
Sorry for the detour.
There you go.
Crazy.
Well, again, we had to mention that. So what else do we have, Dina?
Well, we don't have much. We're easing our way back in.
There you go.
We do have
I think you have enough. I think you have enough.
Yeah. We're going to show you something new. We have a new yarn in the shop, and we have a new kit. So while we were away, Natasja Hornby launched a new pattern. It's called Clint. I did receive a few DMs and emails wondering if we were going to kit this beautiful shawl, and we certainly did. It's magnificent.
Go closer.
It certainly has that awesome, the heirloom quilt cardigan. It has that motif of that kind of star.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It says dreaming after all is a form of planning. It's a boomerang-shaped shawl. It's done with modular knitting so that the construction requires
no seams.
No seams, which
they call it the center star pattern.
Center star. I think that's a
quilting thing.
Yeah, it's a quilting.
It is a quilting thing. It is a quilting thing.
So pretty.
So really, that's what it is.
Here's another close-up.
It consists of 4 colors, And depending on the yarn, obviously, you're using, will depend upon how many skeins you would need. So we put a couple of kits together.
Now, the yarn that she called for is Merino. It's a yarn put up by Issy, and I happened to just get that in the shop. Unbeknownst to me, that's the yarn that she used.
Oh, you didn't know that was the yarn she used?
I think when she asked if I could test it, I saw that it was there. But when I ordered it back at the show, I didn't realize she was designing with it. So it just happened to be a coincidence in the greatest form. I only have 4 colors to start, but we did make kits using incorporating merino linen from Moondrake and the Knitting Place palette.
Right.
So hopefully you'll like our kits. We are going to start.
You want to do that one?
Sure. This is the main colorway here is called Rose. It's this beautiful, very soft pale pink. And for the darker color, I guess where the blue is, right here, this dark teal, we are presenting the chocolate. And then you have the option to use the natural and the colorway called Rain, which is this blue colorway in
that's pretty.
The position that you'd like. So it's a beautiful palette.
So this here would be the
background color, which would be your rose.
And then the brown.
Oh, excuse me, I said the teal. The brown would be your brown, the chocolate. And then your ivory, which is the natural, and the Rain colorway
would be the coral and the
exactly
and the blue.
Star colors.
Yeah,
exactly.
The star colors, right.
So forgive me, but the yardages are on the pattern.
Right.
And in a kit like this, where you have 393 yards, this has to be the
second
colorway,
color number 2.
Right, which is going to be color number 2.
Correct. In that particular one.
Correct.
The next one, this might be my favorite colorway. I don't know. This is your main color.
This is very you.
Yes.
So that's the natural. Now, because you have a skein each of merino
doesn't
linen,
make a difference
you can
where
allocate
you put the colors,
exactly the colors any which way.
How pretty is that?
This is so you. Brick, blue slate, and chocolate cosmos.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Very pretty.
Very pretty.
And we should say Merlin is a sport weight yarn, right, Dina?
Yes.
Yeah. And it has, just if in case anyone's interested, it has about 227 yards in a skein. Okay.
The merino linen has 393 yards.
Yep.
For the main color, in case you're stash diving, you need 655 yards for the main color.
Right.
Color number 2, C2, 340 yards. C3, 230 yards. And then C4 is only 125 yards.
There you go.
It's one size. The gauge she's calling for is 23 stitches, a true sport weight, and you can certainly achieve that with the fingering weight merino linen.
Here's another one. This is another color.
That one is called Desert Rose or Desert Rock
This
Heather.
might be my second choice.
Yeah, that's. I'm surprised this isn't your favorite.
And this would be the cream,
Natural,
the black dahlia,
and Toffee Rose
as the other colors.
Yeah,
gorgeous,
stunning.
Love that one. And if you look closely at this, you can see it almost has that little bit of black going on in there.
It's a
which
beautiful
is why
heather.
The black goes so
Stunning.
nicely with that. Okay.
That's a great option.
Show you another one now.
Do you want me to pull one from here?
Yeah. Oh, you have them there too. Here, just show this one first.
Okay.
Because I got it in my hand.
Sure. So this next option, you've got Rain as the main color right here. And then you have the option of using the Viola, which is like a dark navy. Then you have the Fairy Godmother. And you have the beautiful Natural.
So this,
Maryland.
You wouldn't make it the C2. It would be C3 or C4.
Right.
Yeah.
And this would be your C2.
Yep, there you go.
Stunning.
That's pretty.
I mean, you could do this if you wanted a more dramatic star.
Right.
You could really do that and then have this as your C2. Sorry, Pam.
That's okay.
Yeah, you certainly could do that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Knitter's choice. You do.
Yeah, because you could have the two. Well, it's whatever you want to do.
It's whatever you like better.
Exactly.
Show yours then.
Okay, so next up, we went with a colorway. This is black for the body, so this is going to be dramatic.
I love black with
This is going to be a fun one. And then you have your choice for color too. I probably would make it the hot pink.
Yeah.
That's the electric berry. There's sand.
You got it?
Yeah. And then,
got it.
thank you. Lamb's ear, excuse me. So that's super fun, striking. You can color it out, knitter's choice, how you want to allocate these 3 colors.
The other thing that I would do too is I would go onto the Ravelry page and I would look at the projects that people have done and look at just for value to see where you might want a more neutral color versus a more vibrant color in terms of its placement.
Sure.
I think that's a good idea too.
Speaking of neutral, can we talk about this?
What's that?
We took a picture. We happened to have, yes. So when we looked up the yarn ideas, one of the knitters, the testers, used Woolfolk Fleck as the yarn.
This
and
is
this,
Fleck, by the way, just so you say. That's Fleck.
Stunning. Stunning, beautiful yarn. This is her shawl.
Oh,
it's absolutely magnificent.
I might do that one.
It's amazing.
That's the one I like,
and it's so yummy. It feels like cashmere. I mean, talk about this wrap. So we did make 2
feels
kits.
like butter.
It really does.
Feels like butter. This would be the, here, I'll show it to you. This one is the one that more closely mimics
Right.
what she has there, right?
I didn't get the Ravelwer's name, but I'm sure you will identify it right
she's
away.
on the first page.
If you look up yarn ideas and go through Fleck, you will hit her sample right away.
So these are your colors. It's like a black, a camel, a taupe with a beige
Beautiful.
main color. So I am not holding up all the skeins. It's a 9 skein project. I
Right.
think it's 4, 2, whatever, 2 and 1.
1.
Right.
So that's one colorway. The
Right.
other
You'll
color-
notice that our kits have varied price ranges. It's because of the
Yarn.
yarn components. So if something is more expensive, less, there's a price range, and you find the kit that appeals to you with the.
And this one, this
Price.
would be your main color, similar. The difference in this would be that instead of the black, it's navy. I know it looks
Stunning.
black, but it is navy. And we did a gray and the camel. So we took the
Stunning.
taupe out. And we did that. We made
Very
the black
pretty.
navy and the taupe camel. So there's only one
Another-
of these kits.
Yes, that's the only one.
Right, there's only one on that one. But we thought that was a
Stunning.
good one to include. So again, as Dina said, you'll find different price points. This, of course, is a little more expensive.
Yes,
the
because
Fleck
of
is
the-
more expensive.
yes.
And if you see the other ones, again, it's because we mixed the merino linen with the Merlin, so that's why the prices change.
This one here is light gray, and for the accent colors, we have navy, mint, and electric pink candy.
That's pretty.
Super pretty.
Yep.
Fun. It'll be bright,
Yep.
eye-catching,
shawl.
very fun. Next up, I think there was a Ravelry that
Did something like this.
Yes,
yeah.
and we fell in love with it, so we tried to mimic it. That's
like a
the
charcoal.
Yep. Primrose. It's like a denim blue. We have the natural, and you have toffee rose.
That's pretty. Yep. Hold on, let me get the mailman. Hold on.
Go ahead, Diane.
Pam is mailing out something very important, so she needs to make sure that that goes up. Last up, this is, thank you, Merino. This is Chocolate Cosmos, and then you have Sky Eldridge.
Tell them what I mailed.
I didn't. You told me not to. I was very respectful.
I'll tell them one time.
Eldridge.
Oh, that's
Sky,
pretty too. I love that one.
And
With that
ginkgo.
gold. It's very pretty.
I have one more.
I think there's one, it's similar, right?
I have one with navy as the main color.
Was this one similar to somebody's on?
Yes,
This might be a similar
It was
palette.
similar to one we
Yeah.
saw.
So check them out.
And this one has the navy merino as the main color.
Oh, that's a
It
pretty
has
one, too.
This is fresh mint, a light gray, and an aster.
And
So
I
there
think
you
that
go.
was another one
that we
yes,
saw, yeah.
that we kind of tried to mimic.
So there you
So-
go. Now, Dina and I said we were only going to make
4 kits. I think we made 12 or 10, something like that. But whatever. So you get
Once
started.
you get started,
can't
you
stop.
can't stop. Exactly.
So how
It's
many
fun.
people want to know what I just mailed?
Tell them. I think it's great.
I mailed a loaf
Of bread.
of bread to my daughter. I made her a sourdough Nutella loaf, and that's
Never
what
heard
she's
of it.
getting. She was over the other day, and I told her I would make her one, but the timing was off. I let the dough sit too long, and it didn't come. It still tasted good, but it didn't look good. And she was going to take it home, but then she left it there, and Tiffany was like so annoyed with her because she was so looking forward to that bread. So I want to show you, if I can. Why can't I get to my photos, Dina? Why can't I get to my photos?
Turn your phone on.
There you go. Photos. Here you go. I want to show you this because I took a picture. I sent it to Katie last night.
Was she excited?
This was the bread going in the oven.
Oh, that looks delicious.
And this was it coming out of the oven. I screwed up those things over there. I screwed up the little designs, but there you go. So
it's like a sweet bread.
I just mailed the bread to her. It is a sweet bread. And you know, I made one that was everything and cheddar.
Oh my goodness.
Very good. I might have some at home. Do I have some in the freezer? I don't know.
Can you bring me a piece? That sounds divine.
If I can't bring it to you, I'll make one. It's very, you know, the sourdough bread is it's starter, water, flour, and salt. There's nothing to making it. It takes 2 seconds to mix it up.
Making it artisan with the different flavors.
It's the time. It's the time. And you know what I did? I left it sitting overnight when I should have put it in the refrigerator, and that was my mistake. I figured it'll rise even more, and I'll do it in the morning, but it was too much. I could have done things to remedy it, but I didn't. And live and learn, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. We done?
Yeah.
With that.
We're done with Clint.
We have one more thing to show you. It's a new yarn, and I think it's such a fun yarn. It's new in shop. Dinah got this when she was in Europe at the show. Am I right?
Yes.
And I don't even know who it's from, so you can say who it's from.
DHG.
Dyeing House Gallery. And the yarn is called
Pop.
Look at that.
And it's super fun.
How much fun
You've
is
got
that?
color, you've got texture, you've
Yes.
got this wrap going around this like tubular fettuccine.
It reminds me
ribbon.
of like a combination of yarns in the past almost, you know. It's cotton 77 and 23 polyamide, whatever the heck it is. But look at that.
There's 109 yards per skein. It's got a chunky gauge, about
14 stitches.
14 stitches to 4 inches. It comes in an array of these
A
fun
US 10.
quick knit.
I'm just thinking of something anyway. But look at these colors. You ready for another one? Now, I showed you that green, right? But look at this.
I think this one was lime. That's emerald.
This is emerald. That's lime. And this is...
This is tropical.
This is...
Fig.
That's that name.
No.
Samora. Mascura. Okay, look at that. So this is your green vibe going on there. Okay, I'm putting this down
There's
first.
another green.
Oh, there is. Hold on. It's so thick I can't hold it. Fig.
Those are the greens.
There you go. So you've got, let's see if we can know it.
Lime, emerald, mascara, and fig.
Look at that. Now fig, if you notice, it's got purple going on there, right? So that's the greens,
This is like a yellow and green.
They're fabulous colors. Look at that. I love this one. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Then Dinah showed you
tropical. Was that tropical?
This is tropical. That is 80s. That's 80s.
Okay.
This is tropical. This is 80s, like the 1980s. This is
sunset.
And this is butterfly. Let's go close with them, Dinah, so they can see. You have to see that. Butterfly has a little green and orange. Sunset's got like the orange and purple, right?
Yeah. Tropical has the neon pink with like a
and teal.
Like a tealy
green,
turquoise,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an orange wrap with the teal.
And that one is called 80s.
80s.
Yeah, there you go. How great is that? So you might say, well, what am I going to do with that?
Well, we've got options.
A couple of options. This is just off the top of our head, actually. But you could do what I'm wearing.
Chevron vest.
You could make a chevron vest, right? Why not? You could make what Dinah has made before, which is the
Montpellier.
Yeah,
the top.
Yeah.
I think this would be fabulous in it.
Yeah, I think Dinah's going to do that one. Right?
I am.
I think she is. Or you could do, this is so easy. This
so
is like,
that's a no-brainer.
This is a no-brainer. The slouchy tee. It's
think
the
you
easiest
said you're
thing
gonna
to
do
make.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
So fun.
Again,
The
and
yarn is amazing.
I think this would use somewhere like 4 to 7 skeins, something like that to do, depending on your size, of course. I mean, the 4 skeins, you'd have to be like a 30 or 34 inch bust. But in any event, this has been a very popular pattern for us since the pandemic, right?
Yes.
Since around the pandemic. But anyway, you may know of a great, I'm even thinking this would make a great hat.
Bucket hat.
A bucket hat was what I was thinking. Exactly. Anyway, there's a number of things you could do with it. And we just wanted to show it to you. So we didn't kit it. Yarn. You don't need to kit it. You could find the pattern. I mean, how many?
It's 109 yards. It's on the website. The yarn is called Pop.
We use 9 or 10 skeins of Ticklina, but Ticklina only has 65 yards. So I would venture to guess that you might use maybe 5 or 6 skeins if you were going to make this.
It's not crazy.
Right.
It's great.
Right. So in any event, again, the gauge is 14 stitches. It's a fun yarn. What did we make? It almost reminds me in a way of the yarn that we used to have from Lang, the Sol Degradé. In terms of like the tape, but this is wrapped. What did we make with the Sol Degradé?
There was that cowl, that big cowl stitch that everybody went nuts for it.
It's the what's that called? That stitch? It's what they call honeycomb. Honeycomb? No.
Not that cowl. There was another one. Was it yarn over drop, or was it on a big needle, and it was just garter stitch?
Wasn't there also a top? There was so much stuff that was made out of that Lang Sol Degradé.
It's not Sol Degradé. You're thinking about the other one.
Which one?
Your knitting group went to town on that yarn.
Sol Degradé?
No. The yarn that was like this with the texture.
Which one was like this with the texture? Actually, I was thinking of Sol Degradé. Which one are you thinking of? Like this with it?
Yes, it came with black and white, gray spotted. Lynn bought it. Kathy bought it.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the little bumps on it?
Yes.
The I know. What was that called? It's from Lang. It was you're talking about the one that was a color, but it had the bumps on it. Yeah.
Yes. It's very similar. Anyway, it's reminiscent of some yarns that we've had in the past.
Yeah, it is.
I definitely love it. I think it would be adorable, even as it's a cotton tape yarn. Yeah. So even as a cropped V-neck cardigan, just all in stockinette with fun buttons, 4 fun buttons.
Yeah, that would
super
be
cute over
too.
A dress or a jumper. Yeah. Amazing. The colors are fun. They're great.
There are
it's
8
limited.
colors in case.
Yes, we have 8 colors, and get it while
you can.
Yes.
Anyway, it's fun. I think it's fun.
Yep.
And that's what we have, guys. That's all we have today. I think that's enough. That's plenty.
We're easing our way back in.
I still think that's plenty for easing your way back in. But
if you if you're part of our self class, our final class is tomorrow. We're going to be discussing the edging. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, this podcast will be out, and I guess that means it's today. Yeah. We'll have a Zoom link in the Facebook group. Pam and I are going to talk about launching some new Zooms and
finishing up the ones we have, of course.
Yeah, as we're winding up, winding down or winding up.
And Dinah and I were saying there are a lot of teas still coming out. And Dinah has some new stuff coming into the shop as well.
Yes,
so
we're
we'll be introducing that.
Right,
we'll be introducing that. And that's about it, right?
Yes.
That's all we have. I think that's enough.
That's a wrap.
Put it in your pipe and smoke it, as they say. Digest it.
Let us know. Knitting in public, with friends, with family.
Well, knitting.
Yes. Yay or
exactly.
nay.
Exactly. Did you have a 4th of July barbecue where you knit? Probably not.
Should be able to bring it.
Whatever. Anyway, guys, we hope you have a great week, and we will see you
next time.
Next time.
Bye.